This is Twisted Cork Radio. We're all a little twisted. Some more than others. It's Twisted Cork Radio on 860 KKAT. Here's Jimmy and Miss Fox.
Hello and welcome to the Twisted Cork Radio with Jimmy and Miss Fox. My name's Jimmy Santangelo with the Wine Academy of Utah, here with Kirsten Fox, head mistress of Fox School of Wine. And she's assigned to us today to explore Thanksgiving wines. Isn't that right, Miss Fox?
You know, Jimmy, this was a pretty obvious assignment. Definitely, given as we're getting this close to Thanksgiving, I thought, we need to always cover what's being talked about, what kind of wines we are going to be looking for at our meals, and what happens on your Thanksgiving?
It's filled with Thanksgiving Day parades. I love watching that parade in New York, as well as football during the day. But whether you're celebrating Friendsgivings, Thanksgivings with the fam, when you're having that bird, or maybe it's a roast, if you're doing a different protein, there's a lot of wine surrounding that day, right? Beer, wine,
yes.
All kinds of stuff.
I just was refreshed. I'm sure you get this all the time where people ask you, you're at the liquor store, hey, will you help me with this? Or you get texts when people are looking for their
recommendations.
Wines.
What am I supposed to drink over here?
And I just saw someone recently who said, oh my gosh, I can't drink anything other than Prosecco at Thanksgiving. And I thought to myself, why did I tell her? And then I realized she was asking for what to drink all day before the actual dinner.
Nice. I like it.
And so I felt like that was
it's my kind of girl, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Whether you're having Thanksgiving Day, whether it's the turkey, a roast, just don't overcook it. That's the biggest thing that people do I remember every time I'll go to a family member's house or something, I immediately go to the stove and I'll open the stove, I'll pull it out, check that thermometer. And one year, this was back in New Jersey, we were cooking Thanksgiving and we inherited all kinds of fun cooking supplies from a grandparent. And I had this thermostat, the probe that you punch right in, the metal probe with the disc and the temperature gauge. And I kept looking at it, I'm like, man, this is reading awfully high. It was a thermostat from the 30s and 40s. So all the temperatures were much higher for cooking temperatures, like pork. If I would have cooked pork to that temperature, it would have been gray. It would have been dark and gray because they were so afraid of everything getting cooked through undercooked and stuff like that. So I had to upgrade my thermometer, my probe. Watch your probes. That's the moral of the story. Watch how you're being probed.
Watch your probes.
Watch your probes.
I ended up, I don't know what happens, but I seem to, the meat thermometers in my house just seem to multiply. It's kind of like the socks turn in, the socks that are missing turn into. For
every missing sock, it turns into a probe.
I'm not going to call it a probe. I can't do that.
Okay.
It's a meat thermometer. But this year I'm trying, there was a Bon Appetit article and they talked about cutting the turkey into pieces and putting it on a rack in the refrigerator overnight to dry the skin out, which I've never tried that.
You gonna salt it?
Yeah, and then there's this rub recipe that they have for it. So I've always done the brine and all this, but this time I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just go straight in and trust these Bon Appetit dudes. They've been doing a lot of...
You're cutting the pieces, so you're going to have a leg piece, a breast piece. You're going to have all the different pieces, and then you're going to slowly massage them and gently rub them and then soak them into the fridge overnight.
I'm going to,
I like
not
this.
know
Keep
I
going.
was
Keep going. I like
rubbing.
Twisted Cork Radio, a whole new podcast right here.
This is a different kind of, this is the rub after they're cold, so it's a little opposite
Cold
the
rub.
spa experience.
All
But
right.
I'm going to do that because they said it cooks more evenly, which is awesome. And we're going to try to get the breasts out of there without having them be just super. I haven't had a good.
It makes sense. It's such a large. The bird, the turkey, is so big. I mean, think about that. It's slow, and low heat. Sometimes you want to kind of accelerate that, or if you want to cut that down, that makes a lot of sense. But what wines or what beverages do people like to enjoy on Thanksgiving? Like some people like to kind of start early all the way through. So keep some of your low alcohol Proseccos. Those are really good cleansing on the palate. If you want to go into a more of a spirits cocktail, maybe break out some apple cider and then warm that with some cinnamon sticks, some star anise, maybe a little clove. Smells the kitchen beautifully.
Yum.
But you can ladle a little of that into a coffee cup and hit it with either a standard whiskey. You don't have to do a bourbon or a rye. It can be a straight whiskey, or maybe even a rum, depending on your flavor of that moment. Thanksgiving.
Yum. I've even got rum at my house. I don't have much spirit. No, not a lot of spirits.
Yeah, you're not a big spirits drinker,
Yeah,
so
I'm really
you got a
not.
little bit of rum. Yeah, and you can use like a dark rum or a barrel-aged whiskey. Most whiskeys are barrel-aged, but more of a heavier, darker. So I'll just say do a bourbon. If you want to emphasize the spice with that cider, use a rye whiskey. But those are delicious. And if you want them cold, just don't heat it up and have the apple cider, and you can make a simple syrup with those ingredients. I can throw that recipe up for us, Miss Fox, on the Facebook page.
Ooh, I will actually look for that on Facebook.
That'll be good.
Because I'm
going to write that down because I'll forget.
I definitely, so how do you guys, what do you do? What are you doing? What's your typical timing? Like, every family seems to have this is our time to have the meal. What's your family
I like
history?
earlier the better. I like 3-4 o'clock. So this way we can get over there around noonish, fill up on appetizers, then run around the yard, maybe go sledding. Usually, it's an outdoor activity. Work up that appetite, and then come back in, carve that turkey. So around 4-ish, 5-ish, we like to start eating because then you're going to get knocked out.
Yes.
You're going to sit on the couch, thumb around the elastic waistband of the slacks, and just kind of take a snooze fest, and then break out the coffee and enjoy dessert, and then head home around 8-ish, 9.
I like that. That's pretty close to what we do. We do a 4 o'clock kind of a normal start. It just seems to be enough time you're appreciating the wine. It's not so early in the day that you're like, wow, this is really weird to be drinking this much right now.
One thing this meal always shows is that it takes so long to make. There's so many components, and it's so just a lot of people participating. And then when you eat, I hate when we're done in like 20 minutes. I like to kind of take our time at the table, eat, just kind of take your time and maybe play some games. We were big card game people or board games. With the family. We're breaking out the 8-foot fold-out tables. We've got, the table's like an L shape wiggling from the dining room into the family room. It's going down the hall. And we don't have any little ones anymore. Everyone's getting a little bit older in the fam. So we'll probably be meeting some boyfriends and girlfriends coming over for dessert. And that's when we clear the table and we play cards, whether it's poker or pinochle or all kind of card games. And that's when, the nickels and dimes come out and everybody can play. So they got a little stake in the game. It's all my uncle's money anyways. But anyways, he's just got the coin jar. But it's a lot of fun. And that's what it's about. Whether it's a Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving with the family. But one year, I got to tell you, I had tofurkey one year.
You did?
I did. I had tofurkey, and I'm about to have tofurkey again this year, and I'll report back on it how it was this year. I'll reserve comment until I revisit.
I will look forward to hearing about that. What are we going to be tasting today?
We have 3 wines surrounding the holiday, a white wine and 2 reds. The first is by Carol Shelton, Coquille Blanc, out of Paso Robles, 2017 vintage. Then we're moving over Forlorn Hope. This is Queen of the Sierra, and this wine is its current vintage, 2017. And then we're having a French wine. It's Les Boutonches. It's Gamay. And I love this format. It's 1,000 milliliter, and it's a great French table wine to be able to showcase for you today.
Wow. So we have got California. Then where is Forlorn Hope?
California.
California and France.
And then France. So Cali, France.
Beautiful. Well, I am looking forward to tasting all these. We've really got a good gamut over here. And thanks for bringing those in. And stay tuned because we're going to start with that wine that is Carol Shelton, the winemaker's favorite wine that she makes. So stay tuned to hear about that.
Hi, this is Jimmy.
And Miss Fox.
Check out our latest podcast on twistedcorkradio.com and find out more about Wines of the Week.
Here is a wine fun fact from Jimmy Santangelo.
All right, we have a nice wine fun fact for us today. It's on carbonic maceration. And carbonic maceration is a wine-making technique often associated with the French wine region of Beaujolais. And it is even known best for producing those wines labeled Beaujolais Nouveau. Those are the wines that are released the third Thursday of November every year. And they're grapes that are sourced from the most recent harvest. Well, how can they make wine so quickly and release it after just a couple of weeks? They picked the grape, they've already bottled it and sent it to you for the third Thursday. Well, this is what they do. It's that carbonic maceration process, and this is how it works. Bunches of those whole grapes are added to a vat. No crushing the grapes has occurred. It's just all these grapes piled on top of one another. But they do that in a nice sealed vat, and then they blanket the grapes in the sealed tank with oxygen, or actually it's an oxygen-free environment with carbon dioxide. So they pump in carbon dioxide, CO2, evacuating all the oxygen. Okay, now what? Then what they do is each of the individual grapes starts to ferment from the inside out. It's like each individual grape is its own little winemaking, and it produces a wine that is just beautiful. It has bright red fruit, ultra fruity, almost bubblegum-like aromatics and qualities. So this winemaking technique may be used in part or in whole for the entire winemaking process, such as it's done with the next Beaujolais Nouveau that you'll see. So remember that wine was made with carbonic maceration next time you reach for a bottle or a glass of Beaujolais Nouveau this holiday season.
Thanks for that fun fact.
Every Saturday and Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning
on 860 KKAT.
Fill your glass and join us at twistedcorkradio.com.